Yeah, I'm at 6824 Whitehall Avenue doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. The access is a PVC clean out on a cast iron stack about 5 foot in the air, and the majority of this line has been replaced with PVC, but then it goes into a Y and the original cast iron stack here in about the center rear of the basement. So there is the clean out. You can see the stationary tub there. It's the left side, and then we have the finished. There is the back door, the walkout for the basement. A little bit weird of a little jog there to get access, but okay. So this should be cast iron on the inside. It's pretty normal for this age of house. Cast iron was regularly used between like the 40s to the late 70s on a lot of residential, usually above ground and then inside the house in the ground, and then it usually switched over to clay once it exits. But cast iron, it's kind of hard to gauge the life expectancy of a line. What we're looking for is any visible holes, damage to the pipe itself, but it's hard to tell the actual thickness, and so you never really know how much life is left in the line. Seeing the buildup on the bottom, that is all relatively normal to see with a cast iron line. You'll have a little bit of a channel wear away in the middle, and then have some buildup on the outside there of grease. And this is also a sink line, so a bit of a buildup there on the side you can see. And this is pretty much how a 70-year-old cast iron line normally looks. So we'll take a little bit better look at that on the way back. A lot of times when we're pushing out like that, you get stuff on the front of the camera, and it kind of hazes over a little bit. But we just want to make sure we can get a good look at that. And then right here at about 40 feet, we're exiting the house and going into a 6-inch clay line. It's also, like I mentioned earlier, that's normal for this age of house. Clay is a pretty good material. The only downfall to it is that there are really short 3-foot sections, so there are a lot of connections. As you can see, there's a seam about every 3 feet, and so they're known for getting a lot of root intrusion. It's pretty normal to find, but I don't believe there was a tree in the front, so hopefully we don't find any of that. Because so far this is looking really good. Pretty much what you want to see out of a clay line here. The little bit of lips you're seeing on the connections, because you can tell that they're slowly turning the pipe to get it down to the level of the main, and here we are. We've made it all the way to the main. So I'm going to try to see if we can run a little bit of water in this stationary tub. And then we'll make sure that that'll also help with rinsing off the camera as we pull back and make sure that that lens stays nice and clear. We don't need much, but we can also witness how the line flows. It should take a minute for that to reach this spot in the line. Should be coming up any minute now. There we go. See how the water showed up there on the left. See, it's also flushing the line out a little bit. That's always good. But the line looked great structurally and all around. Didn't see any root intrusion, which is great. No structural issues. The only thing of any note is just the cast iron inside, like we talked about. You want to kind of pay attention to that and make sure that it's cast iron is easier to get soft clogs in it from toilet paper and wet wipes, stuff like that, just by the nature of the material and how rough it is on the inside. So I always kind of give a public service announcement about using wet wipes with cast iron pipe. They're not good for any line, but they are an even bigger issue when you have cast iron, because they can catch on that rust on the interior, on the roughness of it, and cause soft clog or backup, where the stuff just builds up in the center of the line. It's not hard to unclog if you get into it, but it's also avoidable. Only use toilet paper and natural materials. The toilet paper is designed to break down and disintegrate in the line, and the wet wipes will not do that, and so they tend to cause more clogs because of that. Okay. There we go. We've come back into that cast iron. Rinse off there. Now that camera lens is only about ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe, so that's, even with the water flowing, it's still not covering the lens, which is always good too. It'll highlight some low spots if there are any in there. You can see that just like that, it's maybe ½ an inch of water. This is probably getting close to the connection here. This was not underwater, and this is a connection right there. That was the low spot. Yeah. Yep, there's the connection. And So a lot of times where those extra connections come in, they kind of wear a little bit lower than the rest of the line. This all looks really good. This has got some grease coating and stuff in here due to the sink, but that's about it. It's not much to even worry about. It's normal to find in a sink line for obvious reasons with food and stuff getting down. Just rinsing dishes off in the sink will do that. And coming up and out of the clean out. So the line looked great. Structurally, everything looked good. The clay, all the connections were nice and tight. No bellies. The cast iron, doesn't look beautiful, but it never does because it all rusts like that. But it's open and flowing at the time of inspection, so it's functioning the way it should. The only thing of note is to obviously, steer clear of wet wipes and just kind of make sure you don't put anything you're not supposed to down that line, because cast iron is known for causing those soft clogs that I mentioned earlier. So that'll end the inspection at 6824 Whitehall Avenue.